Now, more of my exclusive interview with New York City Mayor Eric Adams. What he says about his federal charges, he believes that they could be possible political payback and a potential pardon, also an issue we talked about, from President-elect Trump. Also, the emotional moment when we talked about what's going on in his life, his family, and where he comes from. You seem to be saying that there's a connection between the indictments that you have received for bribery and conspiracy to solicit foreign donations and your pushback against this administration, the Biden-Harris administration. You said something about this the other day and held up a newspaper. Here's that moment.
I'm just a fighter. I believe in fighting for my rights. And this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, of the onslaught of this. And I have to remain silent. But you cannot ignore the fact, because I know I read a little fast. President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump now agree on one thing. The Biden Justice Department has been politicized. Now, you know, if this is in the New York Times, it has to be true.
Do you believe that the Biden Justice Department came after you and many of the people that work for you because of your pushback on immigration?
I clearly believe when you looked at aspects of the indictment and you look at the timing of this and the manner, the leaks, there were just so many leaks. I'm a former law enforcement officer. When you conduct an investigation, you're not leaking out repeatedly of information that clearly only the Justice Department was aware of. Just the manner in which this was done is clearly suspect to me. And my attorney is handling this, and it takes a lot of discipline when you are, really watching some of this unfold and not wanting to and not responding the way you want to respond. Those who've known me and followed me know I believe in fighting for what I believe is right. And, the president said it. The president of the United States said his Justice Department is politicized. Donald Trump stated it. Eric Adams stated it. The parents who are on the FBI watch list for standing up for their children, they're saying it. There's something wrong, and we need to make sure that we don't use any tool of law enforcement in a way to politicize the process.
So this is very much ongoing. Just a couple days ago, one of your closest aides and chief advisors, Ingrid Lewis-Martin, resigned. Her attorney says that they expect that she will be indicted this week. Charges of improper gifts, most likely. They don't know exactly what the charges are going to be. She said she was innocent. Winnie Greco, who is believed to have had strong ties to the Chinese government, is also on that list, another close associate of yours. The FBI has taken their phones, has investigated their houses, searched their houses. Do you have concerns about what the FBI and this investigation may uncover?
No, and all of them have attorneys, and I don't want to do anything to jeopardize their cases. But I tell my team, and I do so, we follow the law. It's about following the law. I didn't spend 22 years as a police officer enforcing the law to break the law. We follow the law, and constituent services and ensuring that constituents are not caught up in a bottleneck of government should not be interpreted in any way as breaking the law.
Does that include foreign countries and consulate approvals?
Well, when you're here in New York as a consul general and ambassador, you are a constituent. You're part of the constituency of New York City, and we need to ensure that you're receiving your proper services as a constituent of New York City.
Are you concerned that any of these individuals are going to turn evidence against you, Mayor Adams?
The only way you could be concerned about that if there's evidence to turn against you. I did not break the law. I did nothing wrong. That is how I live my life, and that is how I'm going to continue to live my life.
So President Trump was asked if he would consider pardoning you the other day, and here's what he said.
Would you consider pardoning Eric Adams?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I think that he was treated pretty unfairly. Now, I haven't seen the gravity of it all, but it seems, like being upgraded in an airplane many years ago. I know probably everybody here has been upgraded.
Have you asked for the president-elect to pardon you?
I did not ask him that, and in our conversations, we both expressed our love for the city, and the years he was in office, they were combated. I'm working with the president and his administration, and I'm warring with him. I say that quote over and over again. And my attorney is an excellent attorney. He's going to handle every avenue to pursue justice. I should not have been charged. No American should go through what I'm going through right now. This country believes in fairness, and what I'm experiencing is not only a professional tragedy, it's a personal tragedy.
Just two last questions for you. A lot of what you say makes you sound more conservative. You were a Republican in the past. Do the things that we've talked about and your reflections on this election make you feel that maybe you want to go back to being a Republican?
I ran as a Democrat, and I think Democrats have different philosophies and ways of thinking. We're not monolithic in our thoughts, and I'm going to rerun as a Democrat. I ran as a senator as a Democrat and a borough president as a Democrat. But I cannot say in my true blueness, I'm true blue collar. I believe in America. I believe what we stand for, our way of life. I'm fearful of the radicalizing of our children who no longer love this country the way we ought to. But I am an American, and I cannot be clear on that. And American people have stated we are tired of our public officials going back and forth arguing while we are in a state of despair. My attention will continue to be on working class Americans in general, but specifically here in New York, and taking away personal income taxes for those who are low wages, making sure we have child care, excusing medical debt. Those are the things I want to focus on, because my family was betrayed by the ignoring those services that we should be delivering, and I don't want to do that to another generation.
You talk about the important role of faith in your life. You've been facing a lot over the past year. How does that sustain you?
The power of prayer. I use the terminology GPS. People use it for their vehicles. I use it for my life. I turn on my God positioning satellite every morning, and when I drop to my knees and I give thanks to Him. And I know that we're going to meet challenges. And I say it all the time. I cannot tell you, I have 6 siblings. And my mother loved all of them, but she just adored me. I was her favorite child. And I used to get up in the morning and I used to hear Mommy in her bedroom crying, not knowing if she was going to be able to feed us and keep a roof on her head. But 8 a.m. in the morning, she got up.
And she bought a home for your family.
That's right.
Working hard as a person cleaning houses. All this that's happened, you want to be mayor for another term, Mayor Adams? And can you beat Andrew Cuomo, the former governor, if he comes back and runs against you in the Democrat primary in June?
They asked me the same thing when Andrew Yang got in the race and he was beating me by 12 points. They don't call Andrew Yang mayor. They call me mayor. I believe. My faith is strong.
You can beat Andrew Cuomo in the primary.
I'm going to beat whoever's in the race to continue to move this city forward.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.